What's good, everybody? My name is Bryce,
So my name is Nam.
and welcome to Homeroom. So you're probably thinking, well, what is Homeroom? And so y'all remember back when you were in school, right? Homeroom is where you would pretty much get all your information for the day. You would hear about your classes, any type of pep rallies and stuff like that going on, and that's what we're doing here. We're gonna just talk about different school subjects like your math, your social studies, your art class, but we're gonna do it with a little twist and relate it to just things going on in the world, and we're just gonna talk about it, have some real good discussion, bro. That sound about right?
That sounds about perfect. So let's get into it.
So, so our first topic is going to be social studies. We're going to talk about the social distancing and COVID-19. So, what do you think about it, bro?
So with my mom, she's a nurse herself, and of course, being Nigerian, we don't take anything lightly when it comes to
Why are
something like
you
this
walking out
pandemic.
that house, boy? Why
Why?
are you walking out that house?
I mean, honestly, I shouldn't be here right now. So honestly, I just know like she's very precautious about it. Every time she comes home, she got this little concoction that she makes in the house. This little heated up, all these herbs and stuff. So best believe when I get home, I'm gonna be using it
Well, y'all
too.
she be getting out the gate, huh?
Yeah. But on a more serious tip, I mean, um, the U.S. and probably the whole world now is trying to act like the pandemic is over, but it really truly isn't over. So we still need to be keeping our 6 feet away from each other and just doing what we need to do to hopefully have this curve go down and hopefully be back to normal by 2022.
Right, 2020, 2025. But the way we acting, so y'all like, I work as a nurse in dialysis, right? And so for me, I guess it's more real than other people, especially like with just with everything going on, right? I'm not really allowed to still be around big crowds. I work with patients who are on dialysis, and so they can't really fight off infection like most of us can. And so I'm still wearing my mask when I go out and all that good stuff. And even for like 2 weeks straight back in April, I worked with strictly COVID patients. So I was doing the same thing your mom was doing. I leave the clinic um, in my car or like outside of my car, change clothes. Um, then I go home, spray down everything, take them clothes off that I just put on in a bag, throw them in the laundry. Like I'm not playing. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm not playing at all.
Your mom and dad wouldn't even let me walk into the house, man. That lets you know.
And they tried to use in your uniform and everything. You looked official, boy. Pops wasn't having none of it.
Nah, man.
He said 2022.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been trying to do so we got that fire pit, bro. And we just been trying, like, I've been asking my dad, please, can we do something? He's looking at me like I'm crazy every single time, bro. Every single time, bro.
Yeah, so,
Do you think we're overreacting with the masks?
no, I don't. I mean, I think the mask still is important. Um, like, I think when I don't see someone in a mask, that's when I really get worried because that's what I'm saying. Like, America's just trying to act like this is no longer a thing, but the numbers are still rising. Like you said, like I think like one of the Western states, this went up 25%,
25%.
and especially with the protests going on, that can also affect what's going on with COVID-19. So, with talking about protests, let's move on to our next subject, which is history. Okay. So with history, of course, as everyone may know, George Floyd just a couple weeks ago had just died from being kneed on the ground by a police officer for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So with that said, and especially with this time of COVID, everyone is locked into what's going on in the world, and there's been a big uproar with the Black Lives Matter movement, and not just only are African Americans coming out and showing they're discussing what's going on, but people of all races, especially the white community, is really um, being allies and advocates for what's going on. So, what have you been seeing so far, and how do you feel about what's going on?
Man, again, so um, not to jump back, but like with that, we being like in healthcare, right? I want to go to the protests. I want to be a part of these kind of things, um, and I can't because I got to think about what might I be taking back to my patients or even to my parents. My parents are both in their 60s, and so it's been encouraging seeing people who aren't black actually trying to fight and be advocates for social justice. But at the same time, man, it's exhausting, like mentally exhausting, having conversations with white people like constantly. Like I'm fine with doing it, but it's like I'm not I'm not your history book. I'm not your resource. It's so many books. It's so many websites and videos that you can watch. Like in this day and age of information, like it's so much we can do um, to like find out stuff for ourselves. So I'm like yes, I'll talk to you, but like don't expect me to be the person who continues to fill you in on what's going on. Find out for yourself.
Yeah, I mean that's the same thing for me. Like, I mean, I feel like I have a wide range of close friends, people who I talk to, just like who are not just like African Americans, but even people who are like Caucasian and stuff like that.
Right.
So I have coaches who have been talking to me, and a lot of them have been asking like, what part can I play? And that's what
Mm-hmm.
like everyone has to ask us.
And you just did
Ask
something
themselves.
like that other people like might not do,
Yes.
right?
So like because some people like need to go to protests,
Yeah.
but for me, especially like you being in healthcare too, my mom again not letting me go out and being in protests. I'm trying to see where I can fit myself into it. So for me, since I've moved to my community, which was 10 years ago, but like I didn't like grow up there, so
Mm-hmm.
it's just like I've always been welcomed by a community, and it's predominantly white, but it's also low crime. But the police department there, I think, really does a great job. So I really wanted just to pick their brain, talk to them, see how they felt about it, and also see what do they do that, in my eyes, makes them a pretty good police department.
Mm-hmm.
So things that I would say that I learned that people as well should ask their police departments is like, what does their accreditation look like? Are they getting themselves accredited in high force? What's it called? Shoot, what do they call it? When you get in tussle.
You talking like de-escalating
Yeah,
situation?
like de-escalation,
Yeah.
but also like excessive force,
Okay.
right? So like they are just using stuff like that. So and I think like it's called Kalia. So like every police department should like ask themselves like, especially in a high crime rated
Mm-hmm.
place, you should be asking yourself, how can I get myself better? How can I do more for my community?
Yeah.
Also community outreach, right? So like where is the things where you get involved with your African American communities, where you guys can not only just be someone who's just watching over the community, but also be a part of the community. Where even when you don't have a uniform on, you're someone who I can look up to, talk to, and just always be comfortable around.
Yeah.
So.
Whew. That's big time, man. It's really big time because there's a lot of people like we're mad right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I'm not even gonna lie. Like for me, I know that reconciliation is the goal. It's just hard to take some of those steps right now, and I want to.
Yeah.
Like especially like even with us both being believers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You almost expect the church to do something,
Yeah.
right? To be because if you believe in God, you believe everyone's like equal, right? And so especially like not just my church, but like just other churches, I feel like people aren't being as vocal as they could be, I guess, or being as just they come almost riding the fence too much for me
Yeah.
personally. And so like I don't know, man. The all lives matter stuff. I don't know, man. It's
I mean, like you saying about your church too. Like that's another thing that happened to me too. Like I've been watching my church do live streams and stuff like that, and my archbishop, especially like if I think George Floyd died on Memorial Day, so that next Sunday, that's like, and when the height of the protesting, but also like the rioting, loitering was going on.
Yeah.
So like he starts his like homily, which is like the sermon in most churches, and he starts off with pray for the police, pray for the fire department, and pray for the military. Which, okay, that's cool, but can we pray for the African Americans that have been killed, the African American community that's mourning, even just the U.S. and period. But there was nothing about that. It would just take care of those people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, I sent them an email. I posted about it. My sister posted about it. They still haven't contacted us yet. So we were just waiting to see if they're gonna say something. But I mean, it's crazy out here.
It's disappointing because I've dealt with some similar stuff in my church home where I just felt like again people could have been more just not like they're like it's almost like we're too afraid to say Black Lives Matter as if saying that discredits other lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we always hear like all lives matters, and right, and just like for people who might even think that way or not understand what Black Lives Matters means, I'm gonna give y'all a couple of analogies and see if that helps, maybe.
Yeah.
So like I heard one. It's like imagine we all live in a neighborhood, right? And we each have our own houses, and you know what? Let's all say we stunting, so we all have like $1 million homes, right? $1 million homes, you feel me? And so if it's just a regular day, if your house catches on fire, your house, it's on fire. Obviously, you're gonna try to put it out like this is a major emergency, fire department, everybody, and then your neighbors come over and see your house burning, and they say, "But my house matters too." Like that's just not how you should respond in a situation. If that happened to me, I'm gonna be mad because it's like me saying, "Hey, my house is on fire. I need help to put it out." Doesn't discredit or lower the value of anyone else's house, right? They all still worth $1 million and all that. But like at this time, this is the house that has the issue. This is the house that needs to be focused on, right? And so, I'm in the medical field. So I imagine like say like your arm is broken, right? And you go to the doctor.
Another example, right?
Yes, another example. If you go to the doctor with a broken arm and he starts talking about how beautiful your kneecaps are, you're not gonna stick with that doctor, right? Because like I don't care that my kneecaps are beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I know all my bones matter, but at this time, my broken arm is what needs attention. If anything, that shows that all lives matter because I want this broken arm to be like the rest of my body, right? And so, I don't know. I think we just have to be. We can't be afraid to say that Black lives matter because for all lives to matter, Black lives have to matter. You know. But
Good. All kneecaps matter, y'all.
but bro, and so, but okay, to kind of like transition, right? The issue here is that people, or one of the issues I say that we have with systemic racism, with injustice, is also going to be a lack of relationships or a lack of like seeing people for who they are.
Okay.
But that can come through relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of white people who I know who have had great influence on us, and we've had great influence on a number of white people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so to transition to our next subject, English. There's this book out, New York Times bestseller, right?
Yes, sir.
By a man y'all may know, some may not. His name is Michael Todd. He's a pastor out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at a church called Transformation Church. A pretty big church, and it's still growing. And this book, man, I don't like reading, y'all. I'm being honey. And I read this book within a week just because of how good it was. So, man, what do you think about it, bro?
I mean, for me, I only got like one chapter left, but pretty much like there's 2 points in particular. I mean, the whole book was really good, but of the 2 points that I really took away was that you're like in marriage, your relationship with your spouse, your significant other, should really be a symbol, like should symbolize or be a representation of what your relationship with God is. That's why God has to be your first relationship. It has to be the relationship, right? So, and that's like what that means to me is like, God's always forgiving, patient, So like all these things that we want God to be for us, we shouldn't always just like want that from our person, but we should also give that to whoever we have a relationship with. So it's just like us being a representation of that on earth, and then we can show that to others who are on earth. So that's pretty awesome. But my other one is like a pretty funny one, but like an eye-popping one was like the boundaries. So, I mean, of course, it makes sense to like, he had one of the boundaries examples, like a curfew. But I think one of the things you never think about is like, when you're like first in a dating relationship, you should never like lay down horizontally with your partner. And like, you might think like, dang, like,
that's tough, bro.
Because
that's hard.
You never know what can go down.
Bro, and it's like, it's so funny, bro, because we all think we're stronger than we really are. I'm being honey. Like, we can be candid. I'm not gonna get too personal, but definitely have my times where it's like, okay, I'm like, I know how far I can go. I know what I can handle. Yeah. And so I put myself in that situation. And now I'm repenting.
Exactly. You try to see the line. You trying to get as close to the line you can.
Literally, bro.
Then you get a bump over there.
And then now it's over. Now you can dove all the way in. It's like, but bro, the book is like, it's so real and raw, bro. Like, it just hits you in a different way, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Real and raw. All right, that's what I'm going with.
It's cool, bro.
Bro, yes, I feel you.
Can I tell you what I liked about
Go ahead. Tell me.
It was the part about soul ties. So there's a chapter in the book, and it's called All Tied Up, and it talks about like soul ties and how important, or not how important, but how strong they are, right? Mm-hmm. And so like, again, we can be real. Like when you have sex with someone, or you engage in like activities like that, you're like bonding with them in a way like that's it's very strong, and if it's not in the right container, right? Ooh, right, and if it's not in the right container, it can cause so much damage and so much hurt, and then we're caught trying to move on to the next person, or just trying to heal, right, by ourselves, and we're not able to because someone now has a piece of us that they should have never had, and we have a piece of them that we should have never had, and now we're trying to like become whole again, and we're like, we don't even have pieces of ourselves anymore, and then we have to deal with that. And I always hear people say like, God would much rather save you from something than heal you from it, right? Like obviously He can redeem us, but He'd much rather just keep us from dealing with it than having to see us go through it. our last ain't even a subject. Y'all know, at least for me, especially in middle school, I would do some silly stuff, some dumb stuff, and I would end up in detention. I would end up in detention, and we got a special guest in detention today. Got a nice little dust cap. Again, when I was in detention, it was because I did something stupid. Who was in detention today, brother? Now.
So who's in detention? Which I'm keeping Virgil with you. 2 Virgils with you. Is the man himself, creative director of Louis Vuitton, Off-White. I know I got the shoes on today. You know what I mean? A slight flex.
Look.
But Virgil Abloh, after
what'd he do, bro?
He did a couple things actually. I heard he was complaining about the protests, but he was so much focused on the writing. But we're mainly talking about. We saw that this man gave I think it was on GoFundMe or something. He gave a donation of $50,000.
$50,000? Like that's something. You know, that's
not $50.
He went for $50 million. Is it even worth $50 million?
How much is stuff on his website go for?
They like a raincoat's like $400 on sale.
Can we talk? Okay, so I mean, we got a laptop here, but can we try to see like what would be like the cheapest thing?
Let me see. Because what? So you tell me he got $50,000, right?
$50,000.
$50,000, right? Right?
Not $50,000.
No.
50.
50.
50.
50.
50.
So like some cars, like that's what it takes to like fill up the gas tank, right?
Yeah. Like the Hummer.
The Hummer. If you still driving the Hummer, I ain't even gonna go there. Bro, the cheap. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go to the accessories. Okay.
Accessories.
Okay. You want an iPhone XR case? I need 50, bro.
50.
I need 50.
The
and
cheapest,
it's on sale, bro.
It said the cheapest thing was 50, and this man was like all the money he's making, and especially you being African American yourself,
right?
Mind you, we did see this man is. I don't know how much he.
I don't know, man. Maybe we need to like see if like Starbucks will take him.
Starbucks
maybe it's time. Maybe he need to be CEO of Starbucks or something, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just I was really disappointed, man. It's like you're black, you have a sphere of influence essentially, right? You've been able to build yourself up and have a voice in the community where like we need more people speaking up, right? And I can't judge nobody's heart, but to only get $50 in support of the movement, maybe he's done more by the time like we're talking about this. I would hope, but if not.
Even Michael Jordan gave $100,000, $100 million.
I forgot
$100 million.
If Michael Jordan giving away
money,
you know it's
bad. Jordan can give money. You know it's bad. So
he don't even give it to his fam, bro. Virgil. So it's like if he can do it, like come on now.
Yeah.
So Virgil, got that for you, man. But that's it, man. We can wrap it up. We just want to thank y'all for tuning in to our first episode of Homeroom. If you like it, just stay tuned. We got some more stuff coming. We got a homework assignment though, right?
We got a homework assignment. Yeah, you let them know.
I got you. And so again, it's homeroom. So we're in school, right? So we got a simple homework assignment for y'all. Okay. All I want y'all to do is like the video, subscribe, and then leave a comment, right? And our question to y'all is, what do y'all want to see next? What subject do y'all want to see next? Math, I don't know, art. Like, what do y'all want to see? Let us know. And then in the comments, we're gonna have a winner, right? And the winner is gonna be someone we select in the comments, and they're gonna get their very own free copy, free edition of Michael Tyler's Relationship Goals. Sure. And again, this is a life changing book for me, for you. So it'd be really dope to get your hands on it. So again, just comment, let us know what you want to see next, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace out.